DramaCityProductions.com.
You are plugged in for the Podcast Wrestling Society, where you can get dynamic weekly pro wrestling and MMA-related content. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PODWRES Society so that you can stay in the know.
Space is the place, and the sky's the limit.
And if you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and hit that subscribe button.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Now, your host, he is the one and only Troy Adams.
Strap yourselves in for another blockbuster edition of Wrestling Wednesday here on the Podcast Wrestling Society as we continue our journey through the devil's anus that was professional wrestling in the year 1995. I'm your loving leader, benevolent host, Midwest Monster, and I may not be buff, but I do in fact have the stuff. I am Troy Adams, and my co-host with the most, he is the Scotty Riggs to my Marcus Alexander Bagwell. We're just some American males. He is Greg. What up, Greg?
What's up? I'm not wearing an eye patch.
Oh man, did he do that in the American males, or was that after?
No, but still.
Well, we still got to clap our hands above our heads.
Well, hell yeah, dude, we're doing that in March. I'll let you know. We're walking around we're gonna walk around Cleveland doing that the whole day.
Are we gonna be wearing stars and stripes?
I hope Kyle's listening to this because he's gonna get in on it too. So
exactly. Are we gonna be wearing almost like Zubaz, but stars and stripes colors, whatever, walking around?
I feel like it's a dumb question. We are. And
sunglasses, with our hair gelled back and all that. Yeah.
And dangly earrings.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
This is getting weird.
Yeah, getting. I hope you're ready, man. We're covering King of the Ring 1995, baby. Oh, yeah.
Apologies in advance.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be the second event that we're going to cover today because I'm trying to stick to, order. It was hard getting through both of these shows this week, especially King of the Ring. My God, that show blew hard. Blue chunks.
I disagree, but whatever.
Yeah, well, we'll get into all that
joke.
Crap. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't. You love that show, and you love Mabel. He was one of your favorites.
Yeah,
back
he
in
should have been the third man, but
yeah, either him or Davey Boy Smith. Gosh, we're getting stupid already. I just want to let you all know, even though the podcast was posted on Wednesday last week, obviously we pre-record all this stuff and it's posted, everything's in the can, ready to go by Wednesday, so it's not like we're updating anything on the day. So we didn't get a chance to say anything about this because it happened on Wednesday. This week's episode is dedicated to the memory of Mean Gene Okerlund. He passed away last Wednesday at the age of 76. That's it was a bad day. I know you were pretty broken up about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, when I started watching wrestling, he was it wasn't wrestling going on in the ring, it was him interviewing someone.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it could be argued he's one of the faces of wrestling when I was a kid,
Everybody knows Mean Gene. Even if you don't know wrestling, you know Mean Gene. It's like I
can honestly tell you too, everything I've ever read about anybody, no one's ever said a bad thing about him. I couldn't ever think of anything.
The only thing I heard, and it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, it was just people said he loved to drink, and when he would drink, he would get mouthy, and he would say crap that he wouldn't back up. He'd sit there at the bar, screw this company, I'm quitting tomorrow.
So he was a guy. Okay,
yeah,
whatever.
Basically. I just always thought it was people.
Congratulations, you're a red-blooded male. Okay.
People always joke about that because they're he sat there at the bar every night. This company sucks. I'm quitting tomorrow. Tendering my resignation. Screw Bischoff and whoever else. They all don't know what they're doing. He said the next day he'd show up. Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I love my job.
Hey, to be real fair, when my alarm goes off at 3:30 in the morning, I quit my job, and then I pull it back at 3:31. Okay. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been there, done that. So, but yeah, Mean Gene is one of those guys that is bigger than wrestling because, like I said, along with no matter what you think of these people, it's like Mean Gene, Bobby Heenan, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, and The Rock. And I'd even throw John Cena in there. It's like, them, even if you don't know anything about wrestling. So, and maybe Vince McMahon. But, yeah, so those are the guys, and it was sad when Bobby died. It's sad when Mean Gene died. There are a few people where it's like, man, I'm not looking forward to having to think about, it's like, man, they're not here anymore. And, Mean Gene was one of them. Not that you ever...
Yeah, I mean, he was, like, not old enough yet,
Yeah, 76. I mean, it's not like he was a spring chicken, but, I don't know, that's not super old to me. And it's not like you can say, well, he was in the business and he was taking bumps and whatever.
Well,
he wasn't.
I look at a woman like Betty White. She's like almost 100, and she's still going.
I know. Yeah, she still seems like she can live for another, 20 years.
I know. So, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was the bottle that got. I don't know, because I heard he did like to drink quite a bit, but and smoke cigars. That was another one. He loved to smoke cigars, but I don't know. Either way, it's real sad to talk about. You and I both grew up on him. You mostly grew up on him in WWF. I grew up on him mostly in WCW. So, and others.
Well, that alone right there tells you like how many people he touched.
Yeah, but
think about that.
And before our generations, even people knew him in the AWA. He was a big deal there. And I didn't know this, but the first one to coin him as Mean Gene was actually Jesse the Body. I did not know that. I learned.
Yeah, he goes, I think you're Mean Gene or something like that.
Well,
I call you Mean Gene.
Well, the day he passed, I watched a bunch of his old stuff. Of course, I watched the SummerSlam blooper where the thing falls behind him and he yells, "F it!" And then
that was everywhere.
That was great.
The day he passed.
That
everybody posted that GIF.
Yep. There was that one. There was the one.
Story about that, real quick. I guess that was he didn't realize they were live.
Yeah.
And that aired. No, sorry. They did two, and they aired that one live or something like that. Yeah.
Good Lord.
So they put the wrong one or something like that in the machine.
That was like one of two, live bloopers he had. The other one was, not his fault. It was Sid, where Sid's like, "Hold on, let me start again," and he was like, "We're live, pal." Which, just another feather in the cap of Sid's mess ups there. But yeah, that one, and I saw I think you sent me the video too, or it might have been another buddy of mine, that thing in WCW where he's standing there with the Natural Born Thrillers. And he starts just like cussing him, or just like going off on him.
Yeah, go to hell, pal.
And he calls someone a little prick and everything. Like, that was great. And one of my wrestler friends on Facebook posted that and was like, not to brag, but I was just hanging out with the guy that Mean Gene called a little prick in this video. It was awesome. But yeah, Mean Gene's up there, interviewing the greats before they get into that big wrestling ring in the sky. So, rest in peace, Mean Gene Okerlund. Great stuff there. Before we get into the news, though, since we're on the subject of, before we get into, I did have a tribute to Mean Gene. I'm going to play here in just a moment, right after this. We're going to go straight from me plugging stuff right into my tribute for Mean Gene Okerlund. Then we're going to hit you with the news. But while we're here at the beginning of the show, let me plug all of the stuff we need to plug. I want to tell you first about two great websites you can go to for shops where you can pick up some great merchandise for the podcast. The first one is redbubble.com/people/pod rest society, just like the social media handles. You can also go to shop.spreadshirt.com/podcast-wrestling-society. You can get all kinds of merchandise on those websites, from t-shirts to hoodies to tank tops, You can get ball caps, and even if you don't want clothing items per se, you can always get like mouse pads or mugs, travel mugs, water bottles, what have you. There's a ton of stuff there, different kinds of like tote bags and duffel bags and whatnot, pins, stickers. You can get all of that there. So definitely go check out redbubble.com/people/podrest society or shop.spreadshirt.com/podcast-wrestling-society. I also want to tell you about our awesome affiliation with not only DramaCityProductions.com, but if you go to WrestlingWithWrestling.com, they got a bunch of stuff there, all the news and updates and show rundowns we're not able to cover here on the podcast because we only do one show a week, and I try to keep up with social media as much as possible, but I'm only one man, so, things sometimes fall through the cracks or, I don't get to it right away, but stuff I don't get to on social media, you can go check out WrestlingWithWrestling.com to go see all of that good stuff. You can also see great exclusive interviews on there, other great podcasts besides just this one right here. Those are put up on WrestlingWithWrestling.com. There's tons of videos of various matches from the indies and abroad, across the world. You can keep up with different wrestling promotions across the world that might not have TV here in America, so check it out. WrestlingWithWrestling.com, covering all four corners of the ring. Also, I want to let you know about advertising with us. We will advertise for whatever your product may be or your podcast and promote whatever you got within reason. You just go to AdvertiseCast.com/podcast wrestling society. It might not be the most up to date as far as the information about the show, but it'll show you a little bit about us in the way of you can see the latest episodes, you can see our reach on social media and with listeners on the show itself. You can see an About Me for me, and the most important thing on there, you can see our rates. We will accept 10, 15, 30, 60, and 120-second promos or commercials or what have you. We'll do live reads if you want to, and it's got our rates on there about how much we charge. So, like I said, go to AdvertiseCast.com/podcast wrestling society, and you can see all of that, and we will hook you up, and you can be a paying patron for the Podcast Wrestling Society. Now, then I'm done pimping all that stuff, I'm going to send it to this dedication I made the other day to Mean Gene Okerlund. I hope all of you get as much enjoyment out of it as I enjoyed making it.
Well, Hotline fans, I have got a hotline rumor for you.
Oh, come on! It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Where are we going to go at this hour?
Exactly what we said. The workouts start 5 o'clock. What are you doing with that smoke blowing in my face? My God, what is this, Gino?
Well, Hulk, I'm getting ready for breakfast here. I'm going to have some pancakes, a couple of eggs, some bacon before I work out. I'm just having a cigar.
All right, fans, coming up a week from tonight here at Boston at the Garden.
Well, fans, just to bring you up to date here on the AWA. Damn it, who put that up? Is that $200 an hour?
Oh, boy, I'm ready for a beer and a bratwurst. What about it, huh?
Tonight, yes, tonight in Los Angeles, World Championship Wrestling unveils a secret weapon that may finally cause a rival wrestling organization to crumble.
Rest in peace, Mean Gene Okerlund. Born December 19th, 1942, died January 2nd, 2019.
All right, well, now that we're officially done with that, you want to touch on a couple of news stories here real quick before we move on to our main subjects?
Yeah.
There's some good stuff.
I got a feeling what the top ones will be, but yeah, go for it.
Well, I will let you know right away.
Well, by the way, we don't rehearse this, folks, and I think it shows.
Yeah. Wow. Well, for all of you, we will not be talking about Wrestle Kingdom 13. I'm still in the process of watching it, and I will do a separate YouTube exclusive, bro, kind of review of the show. Ramon says he's watched it. Have you?
Not yet.
Okay, I am like more than halfway through the show, but still got a ways to go. The big matches, bro. It's been pretty good so far. Some of the matches I think I'm like, did they cut them for time at the end of the show, or did they just not like budget their time very well in this? I don't know. Some of them seem like they should have been way longer. But either way, let's check the YouTube for that. Search Podcast Wrestling Society and subscribe, bro. You know, I
Come
know.
on, get us to 100.
Yeah, exactly. We need 100 subscribers. I know you guys are listening to the episodes on there in the archives. And we
just subscribe until we get the URL. Then you can unsubscribe. Come on.
Don't tell them that. You can keep subscribing.
Well, I mean, ideally, they're gonna subscribe and end up liking it. Okay, I'm just.
Yeah. Well. But anyway, let's.
Kids, you don't even need your parents' permission. We're PG.
Yeah. Well, we try to be. All right. Anyway, we'll hit the little ring bell here. All right. That means news, bro. First of all.
Sorry. No more lists. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. It's hard getting out of that. But anyway, on the WWE side, I guess a Nigel McGuinness documentary is going to air on the network after NXT UK takeover Blackpool. So that's cool. If any
what
of
a
you,
coincidence.
Yeah, if any of you are Nigel McGuinness fans, there you go. And if you'll be That'd be cool. Yeah, his highlight.
I'm almost certain they will.
Yeah. I say they'll use his highlight because there's not really much highlights from Desmond Wolfe.
I still remember like when he debuted on Impact, you sent me a message like in bold letters. Holy, SHIT. That's Nigel McGuinness. I'm like,
yeah,
really?
Yeah,
I hadn't seen him with no hair.
Well, the first week I was like, all right, some British dude who looks like a mini Kurt Angle, whatever. And then the next week, yeah, because I hadn't been keeping up with Ring of Honor. Then the next week, I'd seen him actually wrestle. I'm looking, and I'm like, I could tell by his ring gear. I'm like, oh, it's Nigel McGuinness. What the hell? Like, he shaved his head? Again, I hadn't kept up with Ring of Honor. If I had, I would have known right away.
If you go back and look at it, by the way, just to me, it looked like hair plugs, the spikes.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but if you go back and look at it, So
well, it clearly wasn't because he has a full head of hair now. But yeah, I don't know. It looked weird. I think he looked better with a shaved head. I don't know. He was good. He was fine either way. But if you guys like this documentary that WWE's putting out there, he has his own out there. You guys can search for it. I don't know where it's available, but all the proceeds, I believe, go to Nigel McGuinness, and I don't know if it's like a charity thing or whatnot, but yeah, it's kind of about him having to go into retirement out of the ring and why. From what I heard, it's a good film. I have not seen it yet. Before he went to WWE, he was pimping it hard because that was basically his retirement fund. But yeah, so check that out. This next story isn't very fun, but I figured I'd,
Oh, yeah, you're right. That last one was fun. This one's, yeah.
The Nigel McGuinness, well, whatever. I mean, the documentary might be fun. I don't know. But this one, there are a couple of dark stories, to cover. I mean, this is the last dark one, really. The rest of them are fun. But this one, it's kind of more of a public service announcement, I guess. Toni Storm of NXT UK had some photos and videos of herself leaked from her phone or somebody else's phone.
These women will never learn, will they?
Yeah, well, she's young, and young people do.
And I hope no one thinks that's a sexist thing. Oh, women! It's always the women. Okay.
Let's be honest. Seth Rollins had his dong leaked.
Well, it wasn't leaked though. I mean, that woman put it out there.
Oh, well,
that's a difference.
That's true. Well, still, either way, yeah. So this happened, and people on Twitter and Instagram were like tagging her in the pictures and videos because people are weird.
They're pieces of crap.
Yeah, and because of that, she has deleted her social media accounts. First, she went on a blocking spree, and then when it apparently was more than she could handle, she just said, screw it, and deleted everything. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? Like, okay, you see it. Like, why do you have to tag her and be like, hey, check this out?
Because they feel like she's going to reply. It's going to make them feel good. Hey, the woman I just fapped to replied to me. It's like, crap.
What the way you put it was just weird. But you're wrong. You're not wrong. It's just like people. Public service announcement for the year 2019, and I mean just like any time. But new year, new you. Quit being terrible people. Just stop it. If you're terrible, quit being terrible. Super easy. It's not that hard not to be a bad person.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to about it being hard or not. No pun intended, I swear. I swear there's no pun there. Seriously, people just love to do that crap,
I know. It's like, just stop. And, well, now that she's, deleted her social media accounts, she can't have, because, it's pretty bad when this has happened so often that, you can tell WWE has a canned response they give to these women, because Paige and Charlotte had the same exact response of some intimate photos of myself have been released without my permission and blah blah blah. It's like when Paige released it, I was like, okay, whatever. But when Charlotte had the word for word same exact response, I'm like, this is from WWE. They're like, post this. But yeah, still, it's just, come on, it's just bad. I don't know why. When I hear this, I always think of there was a Pritchard show where he was talking about like when JR used to do the pre-employment interviews with people. Like one of the questions was like, "Is there anything we need to know? It's out there." Well, and like, I mean, obviously he embellished with it, but it's like, I don't want you us put you in the main event of WrestleMania. You're at a press conference and somebody saying, "Hey, there's a picture of your junk." Don't want that.
Wow.
I mean, it's we're making fun of it, whatever. But seriously, and if she did that, whatever, that's her own business. But like, quit spreading it, quit tagging people in it, quit trying to embarrass her about it. Let it go. All right, you see it, move on. God, act like you've seen a naked person before, which these people that have seen this guarantee they see a lot of naked people on their computer all day and all night.
Yep, down the old basement. Hey, Johnson & Johnson's making a killing off these people, so
Jergens too. They're keeping them in business, man. But anyway, let's. That's my public service announcement for the year 2019. Quit being terrible people. Let's move on. Take a note from Tama Tonga.
And just side note, if you're gonna take those pics, keep them on an SD card. Don't put them in your cloud, okay? I mean, just
and if you're gonna use them, because they all come from the iCloud or the Apple Cloud, whatever. So
don't upload them.
Yeah, quit.
Why would you want to put something like that up there in the cloud, anyways? Like, seriously.
And make sure that if you're the thing is, I don't know. There's certain ways where if you're going to send this stuff, make sure that it cannot be saved. You're not saving them. Something like that. Just, I don't know. There's not a good answer for this other than quit sending them. So that's the only thing I can say.
Or just switch to Android too.
That too.
Sorry, I'm a pro Android guy, and they give you the option to upload to the cloud or not. I believe Apple just does it. Well, I could be wrong on that.
You can turn the function off, but I don't think anybody does. So, because you have to manually go in, and either way. Take a note from Tama Tonga. He said in the year 2019, he's no longer the bad boy. He's going to be the good guy.
Oh, I'll believe that when I see it. So.
Well, it's living the gimmick, pal. Anyway, WWE SmackDown beats Raw in the ratings for a second straight week. I'm referring to last week. The New Year's Day edition of SmackDown was up 10% from the prior week to a total of 2.091 million viewers. Not bad.
You're telling me that the show on New Year's Eve where everyone's out tanked. Shocked.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like they beat them 2 weeks in a row, which I'm not super shocked by.
Well, last week was Christmas.
Yeah,
so.
Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, which are you going to watch? So, yeah. I mean, there's multiple reasons for it. Those are the most prevalent, obviously. The other excuse is, I don't know, SmackDown's just a better show. At least in my opinion.
They were both taped too, by the way. So
yep,
like all episodes.
I knew, unfortunately, and I ran into it completely by accident because I forgot that it was taped, and I saw a video. I'm like, hell is this? And I'm watching. I'm like, damn it, Styles won. I wasn't mad about that, but I was mad because I found out by accident. I'm like, you pieces of crap, quit sharing this stuff.
Let's see that for you. Going back to the last story.
Yep. Quit being terrible people. Anyway, the only New Japan story I do have this was announced at Wrestle Kingdom, but it has nothing to do with that show. There has been a third date announced for their New Beginning USA tour. As I mentioned, the first date is at the LA Globe Theater at the end of this month. And then the next date is on the other side of the country in North Carolina. I can't remember the venue's name for that. And then this one...
the Hardy Compound.
Wow. Then this one is going to be at it's going to be on February 2nd in Nashville, Tennessee. So far, no venue name has been announced. But
Tennessee.
So they're going west side, east side, middle of the country.
I want to say Andy Kaufman reference.
Nice.
Yeah, why not? Maybe they can sell out there.
Well, I
know Nashville has some hardcore fans, so.
Yeah, I was going to say they sold out the first, both days. So I guess they say, well, it's by popular demand. It's like, oh, well, I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, it's like they're in 3 different locations. So it's not like, oh, well, we can sell more tickets here. It's like you're going 3 different places. So, I mean, and this is the first time, actually, they have not been on one of the coasts. So this is a big deal for them. We'll see how they do in Middle America and the South. Because although it's not like deep South, trust me, I've been to Tennessee, very Southern. Like every Southern trope you can think of, boom, Tennessee. So there are some Southern parts and some very Southern parts.
It's also worth noting, I don't know if you heard what, what's it called? The Wrestle Kingdom next year will be 2 days.
What, they're spreading the event out for 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They announced, might be a semi-tiny spoiler for the show, but it's like, I guess they announced it during it. It's going to be 2 days next year.
Wow.
So it's kind of bold considering they're losing, 4 of the top guys? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's 4.
I mean, don't rule out those 4 guys working, with them too. Let's not rule that out, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you never know what the future holds. I mean, nothing is solidified for AEW yet, so we don't know.
Yeah, we don't even know where, arguably the top guy's going.
Yeah,
I mean, that's totally up in the air at the moment.
Well, and what you were saying, they're all their top Western talent as well. So, I mean, they've still got their top guys from Japan.
Oh yeah, I mean,
solidified.
They're all big, but I mean, honestly. Kenny
yeah.
Omega's the guy. I mean,
Kenny and
as much as Cody might want to convince himself, and I'm not disrespecting him, but Kenny Omega's the guy.
As much. I mean, I'll say this: Cody does sell tickets. I mean, for as many people as crap talk him, and I'm not talking they're not justified. But
I mean, he's always on a stacked show. I mean,
usually
does he?
I mean, he does have his supporters out there, so I mean,
I have no doubt. But I mean, I'm not gonna.
I'm not saying he's as big.
It's not
as Kenny.
Hogan or Austin or Cena.
Well,
it's like, oh, that guy's in the card. I gotta go.
Yeah.
But I think if I had to pick one guy from the Elite, it's Omega. Omega's on this. Yeah. Gotta go.
Yep. That's what I would say. But I don't know.
He's not gonna. We're not gonna slouch. I think. I mean, I'm sure we're coming to that story, by the way, but.
Well, as much as what's his name? As Uncle Dave loves everybody New Japan, obviously, and he faps to him. Even he admitted, and I'm a fan of the Gorillas of Destiny, but he was saying he's like, you don't get top guy vibes from Tama Tonga, and he's like, so many people talk about, oh, we'll just give him time to be. He's like, he's been there for a long time. He's like, he's not a young guy.
And you think about Dolph Ziggler in that role. Yeah,
he's like he doesn't need quote time to grow. He's like he's grown. He should be there by now. He's not, and he's not going to be. He's like he's a great tag team guy. He has his niche, but he's not a top guy. He's not going to take you to the next level. There's no way. So, And I like Tama Tonga, and I think he's a great wrestler. I think he's a great personality, but yeah, I mean, he just doesn't get I don't think he gets the reactions, and he doesn't have the matches as a singles that he should. But out of Ring of Honor here real quick, I guess PJ Black will be challenged.
Oh, out of Ring of Honor, everybody.
Wow.
The Bucks, Omega, Cody.
Well, you got 4 dudes. Well, 5. Oh, I'm sorry, 5. Hangman Page. Kenny Omega isn't really with him, so I guess
he makes his sporadic appearances. But we still don't know. Those are done.
Yeah,
that's true. We don't know. He could sign with them. That could be out of left field.
Well, we don't know who what the hell is up with Marty Scurll either. And I mean, people can argue he's probably the lesser.
Oh, we haven't known what's up with him for years. There's something wrong with his brain.
I don't know, but either way,
I mean, in a good way, he's a good wrestler.
Well, hey,
here's that.
I'd be out of my mind as long as I got to date Deonna Purrazzo as well, but whatever. Something else I didn't realize until recently, he was on. You remember that gut check that TNA used to do?
Yeah, I just read that story too.
He was in the British gut check that Rockstar Spud won. I was like, the hell? Or for those of you that don't know, Rockstar Spud is Drake Maverick.
Won that one.
Yeah. Drake Maverick or Marty Scurll? Yeah. Gosh. Drake Maverick's a great personality, but I mean,
honestly, real quick, we're on both those subjects. I didn't know Dalton Castle was on it. I must have missed that.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, he was on I saw pictures of it. He was on the gut check. And I'm thinking I must have seen it and just forgot. Oh.
I did like.
He was even wearing that getup he wears.
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember at all. I did like a picture he took before Final Battle. He took a picture with the Bucks, and he said, "I'm going to miss these 2 Rockers," because they were dressed up like the Rockers that night. And he said, "By the way, this picture is from 1992." It looked like it.
It could just as easily been 1995 as Hardy Boys starter kit. Okay?
Well, they were dressed as the Rockers that night. Hardy Boys starter kit was TNA. Apparently, that was not their choice. Like, they were given that attire, and they tried really hard to not wear that. But Russo was insistent.
Alex Shelley hammered it home.
Yeah, they said they were given trip pants and a haircut, and they hated all of it, which you can tell because they never wore that crap again after TNA. But anyway, real quick, Ring of Honor. PJ Black will challenge for the NWA title at Ring of Honor's TV tapings at Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia on Saturday, January 12th. So if any of you are going to that, there you go. What am I missing, by the way, that about you talking AEW? Something I'm missing? I mean, I will say they have officially, you brought this up to me, and then like a day later I saw a picture of it. The Bucks, Cody, Hangman Page, Matt Jackson's wife, and Brandy Rhodes have all signed with AEW, signed their contracts officially. So they are signed up. I mean, as if there was any doubt. But anyway, am I missing something that I don't have as a story?
No, I mean, just, the question is, where does Omega go?
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to say he's going to stay with his friends, but will he?
Well, and like I mean,
it could be argued that the New Day are also his friends, so.
Yeah, well, it was brought up by a few people. I mean, there's 3 groups. I mean, I guess you can throw in 4 if you want to count Impact, but I don't think you can. They're not a serious contender. I mean, if you want to throw them in, there's like 4 groups now bidding for talent. There's the Ring of Honor New Japan group that they're bidding on talent together, which, might as well pull their resources. There's AEW, there's Impact, and then there's obviously WWE. And oh, shut up about HCW. I knew you were going to go there. But
I believe you because you try to move on quick.
Yeah. But the other groups, because, I mean, obviously WWE has the deepest pocketbooks out of all of them. But because of that, the other ones are saying, well, the talent we really want, we're willing to open up our pocketbooks even deeper for them. So I guess it was a bidding war, and I haven't really been paying attention to this guy very much, but Bandito, I guess there was a bidding war. WWE wanted him. AEW was trying to get him real bad, but he ended up signing with Ring of Honor and New Japan because they give him the freedom. He can still wrestle in Mexico if he wants. So there's, that's something else to be said, that WWE will not allow you. If you sign with WWE, you're just WWE. But if somebody like a Bandito wants to have freedom to wrestle in his home country and whatever else, he can. And he can get limited dates. So, I mean, that is a perk that people can look at now. And we don't know what's going on with AEW. I don't know if it'll be exclusive, but I highly doubt it because I don't think they have
of course, we don't know if it's on TV. We don't know what kind of arenas it's going to run. Those two things right there are big.
Yep. We'll have to see. And people can say all they want about you don't need TV, but you do. Like, you really do. In some way, shape, or form. I mean, even Impact has TV, sort of. So...
Sure, yeah. I don't even get that channel now.
Nope. Yeah, a lot of people don't.
I'm over it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't. However, I mean, it's still some form of television, so you need it. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. Last thing I wanted to touch on here real quick before we hit the break. Well, you watched it. I half-heartedly watched it. UFC 232, man. What about it?
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I was happy with one of the results, not so much with the other. Have the drug tests come back yet?
No, but, 'tis inevitable.
We will see. Well, one of them, just like, holy crap, the biggest shock of the night, in my opinion, was, well, a lot of people's opinion, I guess, Amanda Nunes just freaking dominated Chris Cyborg and knocked her out in, 55 seconds.
Yep.
Wow.
Not sure where the hell that came from.
She, some people are saying she's in the conversation of best female fighter of all time now.
Well, she's beaten everybody.
Yeah.
She's beaten Ronda. She's beaten Cyborg. Ronda. She's beaten, and she's beaten Holly Holm, Misha Tate. You name it, she's beaten them, so. And I don't know if there's any question.
And isn't she the first female fighter in history to hold 2 belts?
Yep.
Dang. I don't know who's going to beat her. Speaking of not knowing who's going to beat him, freaking John Jones won the damn UFC light heavyweight title.
Yeah, for now. Let's see the test.
Yeah. Well, even if it does come back clean, isn't his next fight going to be DC?
No one knows yet. That's supposedly supposed to be Brock Lesnar, so who knows?
John Jones and DC? John Jones and Brock Lesnar?
No, DC and Brock, but...
Oh. Yeah. Well, then who the hell would face John?
But I don't know.
George St. Pierre?
He's not even technically in the UFC at the moment.
Yeah.
At least I don't think. I don't know.
I don't know. I just kind of disappointed. I wanted him to get his clock cleaned. I didn't think it was going to happen, but...
Clearly Gustafsson is just not the guy.
Yeah, I know. I don't know who is. Who the hell is going to beat him?
I don't know. Khabib?
Yeah, it's not going to be Conor. I know that. I don't know. This is kind of depressing for me. I'm not a John Jones fan.
Well, the whole light heavyweight division is just it's nothing. So
yeah,
he's the only one.
So that's that. Well, I think that's I don't know. The biggest takeaway is Amanda Nunes gets the win. But, of course, friggin' Shayna Baszler posted a picture of a sign that said UFC is fake, and she put hashtag UFC 232. I'm like, I assume you're talking about the women's fight, and if so, sour grapes, man.
Well, I'm pretty sure Amanda Nunes beat her too. So
yeah. Well, according to you, she wasn't ever that good.
She wasn't. No.
Besides Ronda, none of them were. I don't know. And it's okay, if she's not talking about the women's fight and she's talking about the John Jones fight, I I don't know. None of it. Just none of it makes sense. It's just sour grapes. It's like, you're not all that great. Your friend got literally beat out of the UFC. So she got her crap
badly
wrecked.
too.
Yeah. She got her crap wrecked. She went home to cry for a year and then came back, got her crap wrecked again. So, I don't know. Whatever. It's all stupid. But I have friends that insist it is 100% fake. All of it. It's like, whatever. It's the same people that claim...
work, bro! Swerve!
It's the same friends that claim that all sports are worked. It's like, dude, just because your favorite doesn't win doesn't mean it's fake. It just means you pick them really bad. You made me
screaming that years ago.
Yeah, I know. It's like, just because, certain things happen the way they do doesn't mean it's frickin' fake, all right? It's like...
The Browns aren't this bad. It's fixed.
Yeah, right. I'm quitting every week until next week. Rage quit, bro. All right. Well, anyway, we're going to take a quick promo break. When we come back, it is going to be, God help us all,
on
the Great American Bash.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're going to take a quick promo break, let you know about other great podcasts besides this one on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network. When we come back, it's WCW, baby. We'll be right back.
Drama City Productions presents.
Hey, it's Ben here, host of the Regular Stories Podcast, a podcast where I interview interesting people about their lives. These are not celebrities. They're not the elite. These are regular people, and these are their stories. You can follow us on Facebook at Regular Stories and on Instagram at Regular Stories. We are everywhere that you can get a podcast. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, just about everywhere else. Look up Regular Stories Podcast.
Drama City Productions.com.
This is Conversations with Paycheck and Red, a weekly podcast with two good old boys talking about anything and everything that crosses their mind. You may not know what you're going to get with an episode of Paycheck and Red, but you sure know you don't want to miss it. So do what you got to do. Download the app, find the episodes online, and make sure that you don't miss 1 second of Conversations with Paycheck and Red.
And we is back, and we are covering the Great American Bash 1995. Tagline, back by popular demand, celebrate with some red, white, black, and blue. That is literally the tagline of this event.
That sounds so bad.
Well, my forehead was red, white, black, and blue at the end of this from beating it against the wall so hard.
Yes, but you chose to watch this.
Yeah, because I like torturing myself. Well,
and the listeners.
Yeah, well, hey, the listeners picked it, so that's on them. But, yeah, so you know where this event took place, don't you, Greg?
Yeah, Dayton!
Exactly. The Hera Arena, which last I checked is defunct. It is small. Last time I was in it, the box office and the building just smelled like the bathrooms at Grand Central Station in New York.
And you can compare.
Yep. I remember when I had to go really bad one time, I went to a bathroom in the subway, and you were like, man, you're going to have to boil your shoes after.
Yeah.
And then you asked me, you're like, I kind of got to go. How bad is it? And I'm like, it could be worse. That's
it's
about
worse.
Yeah, it's about as bad as I could, or as good as I could say about it. But, yeah, so we're here. It is sold out with the attendance of 6,000 people. So that shows you how small of a building this is. And my first note, I said, Tony Schiavone starts out by saying that this event is on Father's Day, which gave me really bad flashbacks to In Your House on Mother's Day. And turns out, for good reason, because as much as they hammered that home about it being Mother's Day at In Your House, they hammered it home about being Father's Day here at Great American Bash. And I said, you can...
And in Dayton.
Yeah. Oh, they did. They hammered the crap home out of it being in Dayton like it was a big thing. But, yeah, and you really get an appreciation for how small the Hera Arena was because they take a wide shot and they say that it's filled to capacity 6,000 people. That's not even that's like half of what you can get inside the Barclays, for reference. But first match of the night actually was pretty good, so it gave me a little hope for the event, which was quickly dashed, but, that's beside the point. The first match was Flying Brian versus Alex Wright. Apparently they had Brian Pillman not using his last name because they just called him Flying Brian all night.
That's what they called him for a couple of years, actually.
Oh, he didn't use Pillman?
No.
Huh. I didn't know that. Either way, I said these two are wrestling a cruiserweight-style match. During the match, Tony says that they're holding a contest where people had to send in pictures of their dads if they thought that they looked like a WCW wrestler. What the hell? It's a weird-ass contest. These two guys get pretty aggressive for a while, and they slow it back down. Brian drops right on the top rope, and Heenan says, I think he got him right in the schnitzel there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I forgot he used to say that crap.
Yeah, well, hey, the last event, he said he was going to beat him so bad he's going to be eating his sauerkraut through a straw. So, Brian, the hometown boy, is getting cheered, and Wright, who's also a babyface, is getting booed. For those of you that don't know, they announced Brian Pillman. It's like the Dolph Ziggler of 1995, because they announced him from Hollywood, California, but then during the match, they're like, oh, he's from Cincinnati, right down the road. It's just like Dolph. Oh, he lives in Hollywood, Florida, but, he's from Cleveland. They're all ashamed. When they cheered for Brian, Tony Schiavone said, Dayton loves Flying Brian, and Heenan says, Dayton will love anybody. Hey, look, there's a guy with his IQ on his shirt, and the guy is wearing a number 1 jersey. That was great.
Oh, my God.
He goes hard on Dayton, dude. Brian goes for a tilt-a-whirl sunset flip, but Wright drops to his knees and hooks the legs for a jackknife pin and gets the win. A fan is shown in the front row that's cosplaying as Big Bubba Rogers, and he looks exactly like him. Conclusion, I gave it 2 3/4 Uncle Dave's, so just shy of 3. So pretty good opener. Then they show.
I always liked Alex Wright.
Oh yeah, he was. I'm getting new appreciation for how good he was, and he can wrestle a bunch of different styles too. So he was really underrated.
He was.
He needed to bulk up just a tad because he was just like long and lanky. But yeah, he was pretty good. A promo is shown for Diamond Dallas Page doing arm wrestling competitions. That was a thing. He says that if somebody beats him, they'll win a date with the Diamond Doll, who is Kimberly, by the way. Van Hammer was about to beat him, apparently, on Saturday night, but Max Muscle, who is DDP's bodyguard, trips Van Hammer so that DDP can win. And the ref saw none of this. And then Mean Gene Okerlund is backstage interviewing Dave Sullivan. And Dave is holding and petting a white rabbit. If Dave loses, DDP gets the rabbit named Ralph. Dave says that he's going to win for Daddy Sullivan. And Mean Gene says, Daddy Sullivan, can we get a first name? And Harry, can we get a first name on that? And he says, Daddy.
Oh, my God.
Keep in mind, Dave Sullivan's whole gimmick, if for those of you that don't remember previous podcasts, is he's like really slow. And his name backwards is Evad. So they call him Evad Sullivan. Because, he is mentally handicapped. That's funny.
I like it, pal.
Bro, he's not shoot handicapped. He's working, bro. He's only kayfabe mentally handicapped. So it makes it okay.
Hey, that makes it better.
Exactly. This next thing, it wasn't really a match. It was an arm wrestling competition. It was DDP with Max Muscle and the Diamond Doll, who I will say Diamond Doll was hot and all, but she was like the worst actress in history with like the weirdest facial expressions like of all time.
I remember that.
Yeah. But DDP is taking on Dave Sullivan. And ever since listening to the 83 Weeks podcast, I'm like noticing this more. DDP was just like a walking gimmick. Like, he wore everything. I guess his gimmick was just he's a really loud guy from Jersey. So he came out.
Bill's from Vegas, right? Or
I don't know. I can't remember. But he like had sunglasses, weird hair. He had a cigar, a big furry coat, and like diamond studded everything. I don't get the whole arm wrestling competition, but whatever. Some idiot actually has a custom-made Dave Sullivan sign that they hand-painted. This is real. This is real. Someone else has a crappy sign that they just drew. It was all white, and they drew with a magic marker, and it just says Dave's Doll. So we have multiple Dave Sullivan signs. I literally wrote, I hate Dayton after all of this.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dayton.
Wow. There are two false...
Buy our shirt.
Yeah. There are two false starts to this competition, with DDP pulling back both times. Finally, they do a start for real. Max Muscle keeps giving, quote, extra leverage to DDP by boosting his heel, whatever that does. Dave finally wins the contest when the Diamond Doll accidentally bumps into Max Muscle, sending him into DDP. So Dave goes crazy celebrating and walks out with a rabbit. At first, DDP and Max Muscle get in each other's faces, and they like stare each other down, but then they just hug it out. And then DDP gets in the Diamond Doll's face and shouts her down, backing her into the corner. And here's where I wrote, Kimberly Page is a horrible actress. I first noticed that when you and I watched what was the event where she came out for the Booty Man? Was that Uncensored 96?
Probably.
Yes, that
sounds about right.
That's right. That was it. She came out. She was the Booty Babe after that for a while, and she looked in the camera at one point and was like, "He's my boyfriend," and I was like, "What the f?" Like, she looked like she was on drugs. Just her acting was the worst. And that's saying something in pro wrestling, because there are a ton of really bad actors and actresses here. Either way.
Well, at least she's hired for acting skills, so that's fine.
Yeah, well, she's hired for to stare at, I guess. Mean Gene Okerlund interviews DDP on the stage, and DDP keeps saying that he didn't lose and he wants a do-over. This whole segment was just like, what the hell? So I guess Dave Sullivan gets to go out with the Diamond Doll, and freaking Bobby Heenan kept like talking about, can you imagine going to the movies with that idiot and his rabbit?
I'm just picturing it.
He's just sitting there petting the rabbit. Oh, good Lord. Weird. Anyway, next match. This was what it was. It was Hacksaw Jim Duggan taking on some guy named Sergeant Craig Pitbull Pittman.
Hell yeah.
Ugh. Hacksaw is a replacement for the injured Marcus Alexander Bagwell, who Pittman supposedly injured by breaking his arm. So this could have been possibly worse or better. I don't know. I don't know if this is a step up or down. Either way, this Craig Pittman guy looks like a parody of a wrestling Marine. Very cartoony, kind of like Duggan. So it was a perfect match. Pittman gets Duggan's legs in the corner, rips off his knee pad, and wraps his knee around the post a few times. I love how the crowd chants USA for Duggan, but in protest of the guy who legitimately served in the U.S. Marine Corps. Bobby Heenan points that out. Fans are stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when, real quick, during like 9/11, they would chant USA for Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm. And
then Paul Heyman's like, did these idiots realize that Rhino's from Detroit?
Yeah, they also chanted that during like Starrcade 95 that we're going to get to. There's an Alex Wright versus somebody. He takes on somebody from Japan. And they chant USA during that match. And I'm like, neither one of these guys are American. Like, who do you like here? Either way, Pittman has a deep armbar on Duggan, which he apparently calls the Code Red. Duggan is in the ropes, screaming in pain, and Pittman gets disqualified for not breaking. Pittman then tries to attack Duggan again, but Hacksaw grabs the 2x4 and chases him off. Conclusion, this was a match better suited for 1985, not 1995. I gave it 1 3/4 Uncle Dave's.
By saying that, you said this match was worthy of happening.
I mean, it was cartoony, and there was a lot of hard-hitting BS and playing to the crowd. So in 85, it would have been a nice undercard match. In 95, what the hell, man? Not even a dark match. And what is it with them and the military gimmicks in this era in WCW?
They wanted the next Sergeant Slaughter.
I guess. I remember that other guy. It was like, I don't know. He was some officer in the freaking army they had on some show. I can't remember what his name is. Sergeant something or other. And I'm like, who is this guy? And he was like a real skinny, lanky dude. I'm like, whatever. Well, we'll see a lot of this guy all over the show. You know, like we were talking about, man, everybody grew up on him. Mean Gene is backstage again. He was the man with the mic. He's back there with the most, like the greatest pairing ever. It's the Blue Bloods, Lord Steven Regal and Sir Robert Earl of Eaton. Yeah, Sir Robert Earl of Eaton, who, for all of you that don't know, is Bobby Eaton of the Midnight Express. So, yeah. Apparently, they traced back, and he has royal lineage from England. So, wait a minute. You mean
sure
the guy?
He does, yeah.
You mean the guy from Alabama traced his lineage back and found out that he's really, really white? No.
I don't believe you.
Either way. Lord Steven Regal cuts the most British promo I've ever heard in my life. And he says that American children grow up in a violent society, so he's fighting fire with fire. They then show what happened before the show, where apparently Sister Sherry got in Colonel Robert Parker's face, shouting him down. Parker hits her, grabs her, or hits on her, not hits her, but he hits on her, grabs her, kisses her, and she socks him in the face and knocks him down. So that leads to...
She hit a Southern gentleman.
Yep. Wow. How dare you? I'll see. Colonel Robert Parker, wrestling manager and foghorn leghorn impersonationist.
Oh my God.
He was the like real life equivalent of foghorn leghorn.
Yep.
Anyway, so this leads
the greatest promoter of all time, by the way.
Yeah. This leads to, the African-American gentleman from the streets of Harlem taking on the whitest tag team of all time. Well, they're kayfabe from Harlem, but yeah, from Houston. It is Bunkhouse.
10th Street in Harlem, by the way.
Yeah, which is apparently
specific
tough.
because it's specific because that's the toughest street in Harlem. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I passed by it waiting for a friend a couple years ago. I went through it and I had to get on a bus.
Why?
To go to the airport.
No.
Well, that was the only way to get to the airport. I almost died.
I bet you did. You should have been wearing body armor. But anyway. Oh, man. Either way, I hope you were wearing neutral colors.
I don't remember what I was wearing. I just got the hell out of there.
It is the team led by Colonel Robert Parker of Bunkhouse Buck and Dirty Dick Slater. Second week in a row. Second week in a row, I got to say the words Dirty Dick on this podcast. They're taking on the Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry. For some reason, Stevie Ray is wearing a T-shirt under his outfit. Stevie effing Ray.
Oh, yeah.
The
third man in 4 games, 1998.
Don't remind me. But, yeah, I didn't really make too many notes for this one. I wasn't too enthralled. Booker T rolls Bunkhouse Buck up in a small package. The ref is distracted, so Parker comes in and rolls the pile over. The ref is still distracted, so Sherry comes in and rolls the pile over again. Harlem Heat gets the win. Conclusion, nothing special, decent match, 2 Uncle Daves.
Wasn't it thrown on late, too?
Yeah, just before the show, they had a pre-show, apparently. That's where the whole thing went down. They then show a video before the show. Nick Bockwinkel, who is apparently the commissioner, is being interviewed on the stage by Eric Bischoff, and then Vader comes out and gets violent with both of them. And he says that he's tired of hearing about Hulk Hogan, and then Hulk Hogan comes out and attacks him. The locker room then unloads with all the baby faces. They pull Hogan off and drag him to the back. Now, live in the arena, Nick Bockwinkel is being interviewed by Tony Schiavone, up where the commentary is. Bockwinkel says that Vader is going to have to face, quote, Mr. Hogan. And he says, at the what is it that's coming up? At the Bash at the Beach. Oh, man, it just, you couldn't even, I got bad flashbacks of, you'll be banned from the Summerfest.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Me and Ramon still say that crap to this day.
Yeah, every time I say SummerSlam, Ramon says, you mean the Summerfest. But the match will be in a steel cage. So, Hogan, Vader, steel cage, on the beach, brother. I love Nick Bockwinkel, but good Lord, the amount of, you could tell his give a damn was just busted here in WCW. He was coming in, collecting a paycheck, getting the hell out. Mean Gene Okerlund is now backstage with Ric Flair, who is super happy for Vader. Flair says that if Macho Man shows up tonight for their match, he will end his career. He says, I took your wife in 92. I took your dad at Slamboree. And then he flips around a whole bunch as he finishes his promo. I was actually really into this. It was a really good Flair promo. I know that's kind of like an oxymoron, but still. But next, man. Next. It's the match. The match. Arn Anderson defends the television title against the Renegade with Jimmy Hart in his corner.
The effing Renegade.
Yep. And we got to get Jimmy Hart on this show at least once or twice. Can't have a single show without Jimmy Hart. Oh, man. But anyway, the cameraman keeps showing the same 2 kids with Sting headbands over and over all night. I don't know if they were the kids of somebody in the production truck, but they showed them a million times on this pay-per-view. Like they were the only fans they had. I wrote, I feel bad for Arn Anderson, who looks like he's wrestling a cement mixer. Arn.
Oh, that's rough.
Not to speak ill of the dead, but god dang, Renegade was bad. I mean, he wasn't Ultimate Warrior bad, and again, I know Warrior's dead, but it's not a secret. Arn finally slows his ass down, and they start doing holds. Towards the end, the Renegade basically nails a shell shock on Arn, and then does a diving splash and gets the pinfall victory. A ton, like a metric ass ton of pyro goes off for the Renegade's win. The Giant is seen standing up.
And why not?
Oh, yeah. The Giant is seen standing up in the crowd, front row, wearing a long leather trench coat for some reason. Imagine how many cows had to die for that thing. But he's just like staring down the Renegade and Jimmy Hart like a crazy man. Jimmy apparently gets too close and the Giant reaches out to grab him, but he misses him. And then he just like walks away shaking in anger with his eyes wide open like a crazy person. They still don't know who he is, by the way. Like, he's just the big guy who follows him around. Conclusion, not very good.
Big guy.
The big guy. He should have got a weight belt. Like, that would have got him over. That and coming out of a box. The WCW just didn't do anything right. Weight belts and coming out of boxes. That'll get... I still remember when the first time Ryback showed up like that, and you're like, man, nothing says over like that big guy belt.
Yeah.
Anyway, conclusion, not very good. The Renegade is crap. 1.5 Uncle Daves. I'm sorry for all of you that think it's mean if I talk badly about a guy's wrestling skills if he's dead. But what am I supposed to say? Just because he's dead doesn't mean he magically becomes a good wrestler. And I feel bad, but from what I heard, he was a good guy, which is more than I could say about what people said about the Ultimate Warrior, but still, it doesn't make him a good wrestler. Rest in peace, Renegade, you former TV champ.
Roll Tide.
Eat me on that one. That ain't gonna happen. By the way, I didn't jinx the Buckeyes. Throwing that out there now. I don't have your jinx powers, Greg. And the more you say roll Tide, you might be cursing the tide. So you better watch it. Rein it in a little bit. They now show a hype video for the feud between the Nasty Boys and the Blue Bloods. We then go back to Mean Gene Okerlund.
Oh, this is going to be a barn burner.
Oh, well, hell yeah. The Nasty Boys and the Blue Bloods, man. By the way, if I have to compliment the show in any way, I didn't, some of these feuds, developed within a month, and I didn't, get all the buildup. These video packages really explained what the hell was going on, so good for them. I wasn't confused at all with any of this stuff, so that's a plus. We go back to Mean Gene Okerlund backstage with the Nasty Boys. Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags shout their freaking lungs out again. They say that the foreigners won't come on to the Great American Bash and take their titles, even though Bobby Eaton's from Alabama. Brian Knobbs then says that this one is for his nasty dad. More in your house flashbacks.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so tired of this crap. Can we not have any more Mother's Day or Father's Day pay-per-views, please? But now we go to this. It's the Nasty Boys defending the tag titles against the Blue Bloods, Lord Steven Regal, and Sir Robert Earl of Eaton. I never, ever, I'm finally getting the hang of his name now. I never get it right. These guys start off hot before the Nasty Boys even get their jackets off. Sags gets his trench coat off and whips Steven Regal with it like it's a belt. That was kind of funny. Regal, cowered in the corner. Regal gets a pit stop and nearly pukes. I don't blame him. The same then happens to Eaton. They gather in the corner of the outside railings and gag together for 5 minutes. Heenan,
that doesn't sound weird.
Yeah. Heenan, oh man, I just thought about that. I didn't mean it to sound as weird as it did. Heenan then makes a bunch of jokes about them never getting that taste out of their mouth and says they'll have to get their gums removed. And then Heenan says, it's only 1995. Shivani says, what does that have to do with anything? And Heenan says, because the Nasty Boys only bathe on even-numbered years.
Wow.
I love Bobby Heenan. I miss him. Stevie Ray and Sherry come out to distract the referee, and then Booker T runs out and hits the Harlem Hangover on Brian Knobbs. He then jumps over the top rope, and that trips up Eaton, who crotches himself on the top rope. Sags then hits a diving elbow on Eaton. Knobbs makes the pin. Nasty Boys retain. I gave it 2 Uncle Daves. Very, very average match. And that's the best thing I could say about it. And it wasn't terrible. The Nasty Boys weren't as bad as I remember. They were actually okay. The Blue Bloods didn't really, they were what they were. They then show a video package, shows the results of the United States title tournament. Apparently, it was vacated for some reason. Do you remember why? They didn't explain that.
Not top of my head.
Well, either way, the U.S. title was vacant. It's in round 1, Flying Brian beat Bunkhouse Buck. That was an injustice if I ever saw one. Sting beat Arn Anderson. Stunning Steve Austin beat Jim Duggan. Meng beat Marcus Alexander freaking Bagwell. Mr. Wonderful beat Johnny B. Bad, again, in Miscarriage of Justice. Macho Man defeated the Butcher, even though he wasn't the Butcher anymore, but they still called him that. Alex Wright defeated Big Bubba Rogers, and Ric Flair defeated the Patriot, which I completely forgot he was in WCW until now.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, too. That's right. Stars and Stripes was Bagwell.
Yeah. Why was the Patriot, by the way, not on a pay-per-view called the Great American Bash? It just seems like in-your-face obvious.
Reasons.
I guess. In round 2, Sting defeated Paul Orndorff, Meng defeated Flying Brian, Macho Man defeated Stunning Steve Austin, and Ric Flair defeated Alex Wright because Alex Wright was actually about to beat Ric Flair, and Macho Man jumped him and got Wright disqualified because he wanted to face Flair in the final round. Finally, in round 3, Macho Man and Ric Flair were both counted out because Flair was about to come out the entryway, and Macho Man just went up and beat the hell out of him until they got counted out. Which doesn't make any sense to me, because if Flair didn't get in the ring yet, why did they start the count?
Reasons.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because screw you, that's why. But so now, the illustrious United States title tournament has come down to Sting and Meng. Yay. Mean Gene is backstage interviewing Meng and Colonel Robert Parker, who's fanning himself like he's an old Southern woman in church. Parker says that he didn't come up to stinking Dayton, Ohio to go back home with nothing. He also claims that Meng studied 9 different kinds of martial arts. They keep commenting on the heat, and it must have really been hot because Parker is like wiping sweat off of his face with his handkerchief repeatedly. Ah, man. They then show a preview for Bash at the Beach, where Hulk Hogan is on the beach with his motorcycle. This is literally the most 90s commercial I've ever seen outside of old school Nickelodeon commercials. Mean Gene... It was weird. Mean Gene Okerlund is backstage now with Sting. I have a Jax figure of Sting with that paint and color scheme.
Oh, of course you do.
Hey, this is a good one. He talks about how he's paid his dues in WCW and deserves a U.S. title. Now we go to the actual match. Meng with Colonel Robert Parker versus Sting for the U.S. title. The cameramen show them same 2 damn kids again with the Sting headbands. This makes, like the 10th time they're on camera. They finally find one more little kid. She's wearing a Sting baseball cap that's like tie-dye colors. Meng keeps going for kicks, but Sting dodges him. Meng dominates Sting for a while. And then Parker attacks Sting outside of the ring at one point. Sting eventually takes out Parker and then locks Meng in the Scorpion Deathlock. Meng breaks it. Sting splashes him off the top, and Meng kicks out. And then Sting hits a jumping DDT out of nowhere. That's the end of the match. I was like, oh, that was it. Okay, then. The match ending came out of nowhere. These two had a pretty decent match with each other. It's much better than I expected, actually. I gave it 2 1/4 Uncle Dave. So, about average. They then announced that you remember the fan I told you about earlier that looked just like Big Bubba Rogers?
Yeah.
Apparently he won the look-alike contest. He was one of the dads. I was like, okie dokie then. I have a coworker that had like the same beard and everything as Big Boss Man. He's like on the heftier side, and he used to have a second job as a security guard, and he'd come in his security guard outfit and with his aviator shades. And somebody said, "Dude, you look just like Big Boss Man." Somebody actually took a picture of Big Boss Man and like put that guy's name on it and put it up on the board here at work. The guy didn't get it. That was the worst part. Anyway, and then Bobby Heenan says, "I know who he looks like." Shivani says, "Big Bubba." Heenan says, "No, he looks like that. He looks like an unmade bed."
An unmade bed.
They pan across a crowd, and Heenan obviously sees the same hot-ass chick that I did because he starts making noises like he's orgasming. He's like, "Whoa!" First he goes, "Whoa," and then he's like, "Whoa, oh, man." I'm like, you must have seen her too, Bobby. Videos played hyping up the Macho Man versus Ric Flair feud. This, so far, is the only match on the entire show that I give a damn about. It's been pretty well built, going all the way back to Starrcade 94, technically. Mean Gene Okerlund interviews Macho Man backstage. He starts off by congratulating the Renegade for his win because, got to get more Renegade plugs in the show. Then rambles on for a bit. And then rambles on for a bit. Wishes his dad a happy Father's Day. This one actually made sense, though, because, whole feud was he was getting revenge for his dad. He then tells Flair that he's coming to get him. I liked his line where he said he's too hot to handle and too old to cold. I feel like at this point, I should point out that the graphics used for the show were super early 90s-esque. Like, it was the most early 90s graphics of all time. But then we get to the main event. It is Ric Flair versus the Macho Man Randy Savage, and he had his papa, Angelo Poffo, in his corner. Angelo walks out with a cane. That will come into play later. This match was actually pretty good. Had a unique ending. These two beat the tar out of each other. Flair got out of the ring at one point and grabs Angelo Poffo until Macho Man attacks Flair. This is definitely a brawl. Flair goes hardcore on Macho Man's leg in this one, even dropping him shin first over the guardrail at one point. I don't know how that didn't break his damn leg. Savage's face got busted open at one point because he's bleeding from either under his eye or his nose. I think it was under his eye. He hits the flying elbow, but pulls Ric Flair up before the count of three. He goes for the ring bell under the ring. I don't know why they got a secondary bell under the ring, but whatever. But the ref pulls it away. He goes to do a diving axe handle on Flair outside, but Flair moves and Savage hits the guardrail. Flair beats away at Savage's bloody face and then goes after Angelo Poffo, who turns Rick around and chokes him with his cane. Flair elbows Poffo down, and Macho Man comes over to check on him. Flair runs away with Poffo's cane and hides it in the ring. Savage gets in and gets blasted in the face with the cane, and Flair gets the 3 count for the win. Conclusion, I said, I really like this match. The emotions, the build, the way they shaped it, and the actual quality overall were fantastic. Also, Bobby the Brain Heenan's commentary on this match was more savage than Randy for Uncle Dave's.
Wow.
I don't know if this match, saved the event, but it was really good. I don't know. Every time these two step in the ring with each other, it's magic. I always love Macho Man and Ric Flair. Two of the best, brother. Did you have any comments about this one? Did you like it, hate it, in between?
I thought it was actually one of their better matches I've ever seen. Yeah,
I really loved it. And sets up to keep the feud going. So, I mean, I didn't look, spoiler for everybody out there, I did not look ahead. I don't know much else about what happens in WCW in the year 95. I know about the cage match at Bash at the Beach, and that's about it. Just to close out this, you and I were talking off air. I was like, who the hell did Arn Anderson piss off to have to put over the Renegade clean? Whatever.
Hulk Hogan.
That doesn't work for me, brother. You're putting over the face paint guy. I don't know. It was weird. But either way, any closing thoughts about this show, Greg?
Yeah, close it out because it sucked.
You're not wrong. All right. Well, let's move the hell on. We're going to take our last promo break of the show. When we come back, oh man, King of the Ring 1995 from the WWF, brother. I would say this is good, but it's not. So it's something. It was a way to spend 2.5 hours. We'll be right back.
DramaCityProductions.com.
Hey folks, Brandon Fisher here, the host of Sack 'em Up Sundays, the newest comedy podcast to be put on the Drama City Productions network. Tune in each week as we get really stupid, talking about things we know absolutely nothing about. From politics to true crime, movies, to hypothetical questions that go absolutely nowhere. Each episode is filled with at least an hour of hilarious and super offensive content. So join myself and my co-host Dipsy D each week as we get real, talking about absolutely nothing. You can find us at iTunes, Podbean, CastBox, and pretty much anywhere podcasts are available. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at EM_SAC to keep yourself updated on shows or to drop us ideas for things to talk about. We're always looking for things to discuss.
And we are back, and you know what that means, Greg. We're jumping over to the WWF, the Wrestling Federation of the World. Tagline was Guts and Glory. This one was also in June. It was June 25th, 1995. They actually had, believe it or not, 16,590 people at this show.
And my God, I bet they all regretted it.
Who the hell paid for this? Just top to bottom, this whole card sucks. And I don't care what way you shape this tournament, every possibility blew ass. There was no positivity to be had about this whole thing. And the main event was not anything that I was like, man, I gotta go see that. I don't know, it was Philly and it was Bam Bam, so I don't know. They were at the Core States Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Speaking of Philly, we'll get to that in a little bit. But anyway, at the beginning of the show, they're pimping the director. Kerwin Silfies is in the WWF blimp, and he's flying over the city. How much money do you think they wasted on that piece of crap? Just for,
all of it. Just
for one shot at the beginning of the show. That was it. We never saw it again. Good Lord. Stephanie Wyant starts the show telling, quote, Coliseum home video viewers that, so you know this wasn't like directly from pay-per-view, that for the first time in its entirety, we get to see Savio Vega versus IRS, and I wrote, oh, joy. We get a...
That's right, it was on the free-for-all, right?
Yeah, that pre-show thing they had. It was IRS versus Savio Vega with Razor Ramon in his corner. It was a King of the Ring qualifying match. So, in theory, if Savio Vega won this and then went to the finals, he'd have 4 matches in one night. That's a lot of frickin' Savio on the show. But yeah, so anyway, Vince McMahon says that Razor is Savio's, quote, longtime friend, because apparently they island hop over there from Cuba to Puerto Rico all the time. I did notice, I don't know how long this happened, but Savio Vega had the initials SV shaved into the back of his head. That was weird.
Yeah, for quite a while.
Ugh, that was weird. Razor's ribs are taped up. They said that he was going to compete, but he was only cleared, quote, for singles action, not for tournament action. So he couldn't compete. These two are trading pins for quite a bit. IRS goes to walk out. Savio throws him back in the ring, hits a spinning wheel kick, and gets the win. That's right, his finisher was a spinning wheel kick. 1.5 Uncle Dave's. Yet again, we get into the actual event. The commentary team is Vince McMahon and Doc Hendricks. Doc is wearing a purple suit. He's super excited for the Kiss My Foot match as well. He's putting it over huge, like it's a big deal. And I know how much I know how much you love the Kiss My Insert Thing Here matches.
Bro, he's going to win and he's going to kiss his ass, bro.
It's always ass or foot. Like, I think that maybe there was a Kiss the Ring match. I don't know. But either way, it's like, those are the two go-tos, foot or ass. I guess that's the worst. I don't know. Todd Pettengill is backstage with Razor Ramon and Savio Vega. Todd finally cut off his stupid-ass mullet. Aw, it's the end of an era. Did you...
Well, it's still 95. Why no mullet?
I don't know. I guess maybe Vince was like, it's getting out of control, pal. Too much party in the back.
We need more business, damn it.
Business in the front and the back. I always give them the business in the back. Sorry, it was right there. But anyway, Savio can hardly be understood in this promo because he's got a thick accent. I guess that was real because according to Jim Cornette, he was an agent in TNA, and everybody said they hated working with him because they couldn't understand what the hell he was saying.
Who booked that crap?
Doc Hendricks, quote, translated for Savio, saying that he said, "This could be my last match. Tell my mother that I love her." Doc was great on this show. First match of the night. Oh boy, it's Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette. The aforementioned Jim Cornette. He takes on Savio Vega with Razor Ramon. First round of the King of the Ring tournament. We get a good shot of the Hardy Boys opening the entrance doors. Go back and look. They definitely are the Hardys. Savio carries the Puerto Rican flag and American flags taped together to the ring for whatever reason. Yoko.
Really, Tito Ortiz.
Yeah. Yoko waves the Japanese flag to draw boos because we hate everybody who's not American. They keep showing Owen isn't at the ring because he's taking calls for the 1-900 line while wearing a tuxedo. Because apparently you got to look sharp to talk on the phone.
Yeah, it's my policy. I'm wearing a suit right now.
I'm wearing my birthday suit right now, but whatever. Man, they make it very clear that...
Aren't you at work?
you never mind, all right? You mind your own business.
All right, I'm sorry.
Hey, you don't have to be clothed to be on the radio, all right? Nobody can see you. I don't know if you know that. Although I have gotten a few calls people asking if I'm in El Nudo, so, you know. They make it very clear.
I thought they wanted Menudo.
That too. They're definitely pushing Savio as their, quote, Hispanic star, because he's just all over, and they're, pumping the hell out of this guy. At one point, Yoko has Savio in a nerve hold, and it lasts forever. Savio hits Yoko with a spinning wheel kick. Cornette gets on the apron and gets punched off, taking another good bump. He then stands up and takes Speaking of heel, he takes a very comedic slip on the outside like he slipped on a banana peel. Owen Hart then attacks Razor and then leaves. Yoko runs at Savio. Savio dodges. Yoko runs into the steel steps. Savio rolls in to break the count. He wins. I gave it 1 Uncle Dave. This match sucked. Just all kind of bad. We then go back. And then go backstage to this. Jerry Lawler is in his locker room. He's wearing a nasty-looking sock with holes in it and stains. And he acts like he's getting choked out from the smell, and he's spraying perfume all over. Lawler then says his foot is stinking, and he's getting ready for the Kiss My Foot match. Yay!
Fuck this crap.
Oh man, I don't know. This is how they would have done it in Memphis. We then go to the next match in this star-studded tournament. It's the Roadie with Jeff Jarrett taking on Bob Sparkplug Holly.
Hell yeah.
First round of this King of the Ring tournament. Gosh. Jarrett is wearing cow print pants, a shiny red vest, and a cow print band on his cowboy hat. He just looks so fancy. They show that the Roadie had to cheat to beat Doink, and Holly had to beat Mantar to make it in the tournament. I said Mantar.
The great Mantar.
Oh, yeah. Holly nearly does a Bo Dazzler on Roadie to start the match. Holly then goes for a pin. It goes for pin after pin on Roadie, trying to end it quick. Holly jumps up for a Hurricane Rana, but Roadie powerbombs him and then gyrates. Lots of that in this match. Later in the match, Roadie struts and then does some weird-ass 90s dancing. It's just freaking weird. He does look like he was dancing to Good Vibrations by Marky Mark or something. He does this a few more times in the match. Rhodey's feet are towards the corner. Holly leaps off and gets a boot in the face, flopping over onto his back. Rhodey then lays back on him, and Holly actually kicks out before 3, but the ref counts 3, so the Rhodey wins. Yes, Rhodey wins by getting his boot up into Holly's face as he jumps off the ropes. That's a finish, people. 1.5 Uncle Dave's. Again, this match sucked. Todd Pettengill interviews Shawn Michaels backstage, and Shawn says
the mulletless Pettengill, I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, Shawn's still kind of rocking his, so it's all good. We get a half a mullet in this. But he interviews Shawn Michaels backstage, and Shawn says that no one can withstand the super kick of the Heartbreak Kid. Apparently, he just started doing this as a finisher around this time. Next match. This one actually had a main eventer and somebody else in it. Kama with Ted DiBiase versus Shawn
Obviously
Michaels.
the main eventer.
Right, yeah, exactly. He'll go on to do, fantastic things. Main event, huge pay-per-views. Huge! But he is facing Shawn Michaels, first round of the King of the Ring tournament. Shawn Michaels' music randomly starts during the guitar solo for this one. Did you notice that?
I did, yeah.
Freaking weird. But his interview must have been pre-recorded or something, because he no longer is wearing his ball cap that he was wearing earlier, and he's not wearing his sunglasses. Instead, he's wearing a generic King of the Ring hat. Either that, or he just decided to change right before walking out, which is weird. Again, I had to make mention of this one. Tim White is a referee. That's not wise.
That's not wise.
Mr. White, that's not wise. Don't get super kicked on purpose. 2 middle-aged guys in Hawaiian shirts are in the front row. One is wearing a white cowboy hat. I think these are the ECW guys, if I'm not mistaken.
If the other one's a straw hat, it is.
It might have been a straw hat, not a cowboy hat. I couldn't tell because of his distance, but yeah. Yeah, because they get super into a chant later on in the night that we will get to. Kama is supposed to be the, quote, supreme fighting machine, but yet somehow Shawn Michaels is dodging all of his jabs, and then he jabs him a couple times. Smokin' Joe Frazier is shown in the crowd. He looks confused. At one point, Kama dominates and then holds Shawn Michaels in a backbreaker hold for what seems like forever. Shawn's ass is nearly popping out, because in 95 and 96, you had to get a ton of Shawn Michaels' ass on the camera. Even before then, every once in a while, got to get some ass in there. Shawn gets Kama in a sunset flip, and the ref only gets to 2 before the time limit expires. Now both men are eliminated. Shawn looks right towards the camera and yells, "Bull excrement," but, starts with an S. And it's like really pronounced. You could tell he did it on purpose. Kama then attacks him. Shawn slides under Kama, stands up, drops him with a super kick. I gave this one 2 1/4 Uncle Dave's. It was okay. They then show what's called the Stridex Indoor Airship, which is a tiny blimp with a camera in it flying around the crowd. Yay. They should bring that back.
That was a money idea.
Oh, yeah, they need to bring it back. Like, you know how, over a blimp would be in 2019, dude? Like, come on.
No, only the person that came out of the blimp would be over.
No, it's not a box, mother effer. Gotta come out of the box, come out of the blimp, you're not over. Mother effer. But here we go. This, I don't know if words can really describe this one, but I'm going to try. Bob Backlund is shown, quote, campaigning on the streets of Philadelphia, talking crap about everyone. He opens a cheesesteak, saying that it needs a carrot in there to make everyone healthier. He's then shown riding around in the back of a horse-drawn carriage, saying that he feels like George Washington. Like, what the F was going on?
Is he wearing a bow tie?
I don't know. Is the Pope Catholic? Is Jesus the King of Jews? Like, this whole segment is really awkward and has a lot of really bad acting and awkward silences in it. Like, they open up the shot and Backlund just stares at the camera for a good 10 seconds before saying anything. They then go back to commentary where Backlund gets bashed in English, Spanish, and French by all the commentators in order. Even Vince McMahon looks like, well, that was crap on a stick. Speaking of crap on a stick, Mabel with Mo.
Oh, man.
He takes on The Undertaker with Paul Bearer. First round of the King of the Ring tournament. Now, Greg, when I say Mabel versus The Undertaker, who would you think wins this encounter here?
All of us.
Oh, well, of course. But I'm logically speaking.
The Undertaker.
Well, of course. But, well, let's get into it. Just so all of you know, this match sucked so bad, I mostly made comments on the hilarious commentary. Doc Hendricks, as they're coming out to the ring, says, "Doesn't Mo look good?" Vince says, "Mo?" And Doc says, "Mo looks good." And Vince says, "I see." Like, what? Okay. Mo actually looks like a Baptist preacher here. When the gong goes off for The Undertaker's entrance, Vince McMahon orgasms and he yells, "Oh my goodness!"
You would too if that was your money.
Yeah. He said, like, this was a precursor to, "Oh my!" And we know how much money that is. Weird wind sound effects are playing over The Undertaker's theme here. I don't know who is controlling the music for this event, but they shouldn't ever control the music ever again. Vince says, "It appears like The Undertaker is 10 feet tall." And then he says, "It's almost as if he's not even walking, like The Undertaker's just floating to the ring." Even though he's clearly walking. Like, you can see his legs moving. He's on the ground. I don't know what point he was trying to make here. But some weird goth people are in the front row looking like they should be in the Addams Family. And they were apparently, quote-unquote, The Undertaker's fans that follow him around. Do you remember this crap?
I do. I just forget the payoff at the top at the moment.
Was there a payoff?
I don't know. Maybe there wasn't. That's why I don't remember it.
I thought it was just a thing. But yeah, it takes 4 Undertaker clotheslines to finally get Mabel off his feet. He dominates Mabel for a while. Mabel goes for a sidewalk slam, but Taker doesn't go down. He basically just or he doesn't go up. Excuse me. He basically just lays down. It's really bad. He only gets a 2 count. Both men fight back and forth. Taker falls outside, and his leg gets tied up in the ropes. This spot went on forever. Mabel beats him up. He hits a huge belly-to-belly on Undertaker. This time, Taker actually goes up really high for this belly-to-belly and sells it well. Mabel locks in the camel clutch, and he actually just sits full weight on the Undertaker's lower back. I thought the Undertaker was going to spew chunks. The crowd chants, "Rest in peace," and Paul Bearer is like, "Oh, yes!" And looks like he's about to just blow in his pants. It was weird. Mabel sits on the Undertaker's chest and stomach to pin him at one point. I'm shocked that Taker didn't puke yet again. Mabel uses a pile driver on the Undertaker. Mike Chioda's count is really fast. Like he was doing maybe he should have given pointers to what's the mustache?
Nick Patrick.
Yeah, Nick Patrick. I'll call him the mustache. Taker gets thrown into the ref, bumping him. He hits a choke slam on Mabel, punches Mo off the apron, and then Kama runs in and nails the Undertaker. Mabel then hits a big leg drop and pins Taker for the win. Mabel leaves and Kama starts slapping the Undertaker, which wakes him up. Kama takes off, talking trash the whole time while the Undertaker follows him up the ramp. Conclusion, I feel like this one went on way too long. I don't know who the hell wants to see a Mabel match go more than 5 minutes. 1 1/4 Uncle Dave. This continues the trend of suck-ass matches on this show. This, not good, bad.
Bad.
Not big league. Next, they show, I guess, back then, they used to induct people into the Hall of Fame at this time. It's kind of a weird class. They got Pedro Morales, Grand Wizard Antonio Rocca, the Fabulous Moolah, Georgie Animal Steel, Big Cat Ernie Ladd, and Ivan Putski as the inductees. And it used to be a banquet full of marks. So...
with the look.
Yeah, they all came to get their autographs from their favorite superstars while they wore tuxes. Now they split all that crap up, so the marks are far away from all the wrestlers. Next up, we get more Savio. That's what everybody wants. Savio Vega with Razor Ramon versus the
Hell yeah.
He takes on the Roadie with Jeff Jarrett. Second round of the King of the Ring tournament. Yay. During the pre-match interviews with Todd Pettengill, Jeff Jarrett actually calls the Roadie Road Dog. I guess this is the first instance of that. This match is beyond sloppy with plenty of botches. It starts with a failed scoop slam into a small package, a missed knee to the gut, then a nasty-looking swinging neck breaker that looked like it actually hurt Savio. Double J trips Vega at one point. Vega throws Roadie towards Jarrett on the apron. Roadie stops. Vega knees him in the back into Jarrett, and then does a roll-up on Roadie for the 3 count. Conclusion, these two were not a good combination. 1 1/4 Uncle Dave. Another crap-ass match. After the match, Carlos
Cabrera... a trend here.
Yeah, right? I don't think it's going to get any better. After the match, Carlos Cabrera interviews Savio Vega in Spanish. Doc Hendricks says he's going to translate, claiming that Savio is saying, "I don't know how I got here. I'll never be able to beat Mabel. There's no way. I feel so fortunate, but Mabel's going to wipe the ring with me. I'm going to quit stealing hubcaps." Hendricks says, Carlos says he might as well quit now, and he says he's contemplating that. What the hell?
Oh.
This was great. They show Bret Hart backstage in a pre-recorded promo. He calls Lawler Jerry the slime ball Lawler. That rolls off the tongue. He says that he's been training hard so that he won't make any mistakes this time, and he says that he feels that losing to Lawler at In Your House, he let his fans down. Now he's looking for redemption. And what better way than in a Kiss My Foot match? Ugh. Well, let's get to it. The infamous Kiss My Foot match. Stephanie Wyand interviews Lawler in the entryway, and everyone's acting like they can smell Lawler's feet through his boots. It's really weird. Once in the ring, Lawler grabs the mic and says that after Bret's done kissing his feet, he's going through the crowd so that all the fans can kiss his feet too. Lawler's mullet is in full Tennessee redneck form at this point.
Hell yes.
It was rocking hard. As Bret's coming out, tons of pyro shoots off for him. It's like a metric ass ton. This becomes every single Bret Hart versus Jerry Lawler match as Lawler begs off. Bret punches the hell out of him for a while. Lawler gets some cheap offense, and blah, blah, blah. Rinse and repeat. Yeah, it gets weird when, first of all, Lawler hits like 2 pile drivers on him in a row and doesn't pin him. Looks like an idiot. And then Bret kicks out finally after the second one, and then no-sells the hell out of 2 pile drivers in a row. What the hell is going on here? Yeah, Bret...
Superman.
Yeah, basically. He's the Canadian Superman. Lawler takes off his frickin' boot to show that nasty-ass sock that's all brown and black. Bret gets back in, and Lawler smacks him with the boot and then pins him. Vince says about Bret, his career is coming to an end. Why? If he loses a Kiss My Foot match, he has to retire? I don't get it. Oh, good Lord. Well, what?
Well, it's either retire or kiss his foot, so...
Or both. I don't know. He tries to shove the nasty-ass foot in Bret's face. Bret catches it and drops him. This was gross. Finally, Hakushi, first they show, I always mention the fans. There's a nerdy-looking albino in his mid-30s, and he's with his grandmother. They're both in the front row. They look super bored.
I'll listen to your review.
Yeah. Hakushi and Shinja run out because that's what we needed on this show. King holds Brett his arms back, and Hakushi goes to hit him. Brett moves. Hakushi nails Lawler. Who saw that one coming? Brett gets the upper hand, locks in the sharpshooter. Finally, Lawler taps out. He won't break the hold until the referee counts to 4, and then Hakushi distracts Hart. Lawler holds his arms back. Hakushi goes to springboard. Brett moves again, and Hakushi shoulder blocks Lawler. Twice in one match. Brett then beats up Hakushi and shoves his freaking toes right in Lawler's mouth for a long time. It was gross. He then pulls Lawler's leg up and makes Lawler kiss his own foot. Lawler looks like he's going to vomit. Well, my conclusion, I said, while these matches are always predictable, they're great workers, these matches are always gross. The kiss my whatever matches. I actually gave it 2.5 Uncle Dave's. It was one of the better matches on the show, even though it had a really stupid stipulation to it. Oh, man, this one right here, man. It's for the King of the Ring. It's Mabel with Mo versus Savio Vega and Razor Ramon. You know, Mabel only had one match this night before this. Savio's had 3. Mabel looked like he'd had 5 matches before this.
Yep.
Oh, and here we go. I said, Mabel looks like he's got the weirdest, like the weakest looking bear hug in history on Vega. It lasts forever. They break at one point. Vega gets whipped into the corner, and it's right back into that damn bear hug. Eventually, they work into a grounded headlock. It lasts forever as well. The crowd starts loudly chanting EC Dub, EC Dub. The straw hat guy and the Hawaiian shirt guy in the front row stand up and lead the chant. Go figure. Vince stupidly yells, "Listen to this capacity crowd!" And then I think he finally realized what the hell they were saying. This was fun. Vega goes for a crossbody, but gets caught with a front slam. That only gets a 2 count. Mabel nails a big splash, gets the win. Yay. Conclusion.
Thus launching the amazing career of Mabel.
Hell yeah. Big Daddy V, baby. Conclusion, I said, has there ever been a weaker King of the Ring finals? I don't think so. Most of this tournament was weak and sucked. It is amazing, however, how Savio Vega was going nowhere as Kwang, and within 2 months, he's heavily featured, winning 3 matches in one night. I gave this 1 Uncle Dave. This was like so damn boring. Razor comes in to check on Savio, and then Mo starts trash-talking him. Razor punches him and then starts punching away at Mabel. Mo nails him from behind, then Mabel slams him. Mabel goes up to the second rope and comes off with an elbow drop. And then all of a sudden, the 1-2-3 Kid gets in. He spin kicks Mo, starts beating up on Mabel. Mo jumps him from behind, drops him, and Mabel is about to land on top of him, but the refs stop him. The crowd boos this. Why? Why did they boo stopping Mabel from crushing the Kid?
Not sure.
It didn't make any sense to me. They're smart marks, I guess. But even as smart marks, why would you like Mabel?
Because.
So many questions. Todd Pettengill goes up to introduce King Mabel, but Mo chases him off, saying, "I got this." He then puts the cape on Mabel and hands him his sword. While Mo is reading the King's Proclamation, people literally throw garbage at them. Someone chucks a pop or a beer, and he nails Mabel right in the freaking head.
Wow.
This segment goes on forever. Even commentary craps on it, because it just, like, Holy crap. Garbage just keeps raining. Security is trying to catch everyone, but there's just too many. Once Mo is done, Razor and Kid try to rush the stage, but they get stopped by the refs. Mo tells everyone to bow down and show respect. This is mercifully over. But then we go from that makes me want to throw up to this that literally makes me want to throw up. Lawler is shown in the bathroom, puking in the sink, washing his mouth out and brushing his teeth. They zoom in on the puke repeatedly. I had to fast forward. This was disgusting. I'm like, why?
Ratings. Buys.
Everyone wants to see puke. What would have been funny is if he would have done, like, if Vince would have done, he's gonna puke. That would have been great. Anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. Stephanie Wyand is backstage with Ted DiBiase, Psycho Sid, and Tatanka. Sid talks about destroying Diesel's elbow, and they show Diesel repeatedly landing on it at In Your House. Tatanka rubs it in that Bam Bam was fired from the $1 Million Corporation. And then after Sid and Tatanka's entrance, they show a pre-recorded interview with Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow. Diesel calls Tatanka Pocahontas. Not even the same gender.
At all.
Yeah, not racist, or nothing. And it's like, not even the same freaking gender. Couldn't call him I don't know, Geronimo or something. Anyway, this is your main event, ladies and gentlemen. Tatanka and Psycho Sid versus Bam Bam Bigelow and Diesel. Bam Bam Bigelow's got a new, more upbeat theme, and he's wearing a flame jacket with wristbands that shoot flames. This is what you were talking about before. They updated his pajamas. When he gets in the ring, flames blow up behind him. He does like a little dance. I actually have a Jax figure of this Diesel in this attire.
Of course you do.
Yep. Got to get the mention in there. When Diesel comes out, truck horns randomly blow when he's halfway down to the ring. Again, what the hell are they doing in the production truck? Vince says that Diesel is the, quote, leader of the new WWF generation. Sure. The heels try to jump the baby faces and fail. Doc Hendricks says at one point, that's a good idea. All I could think of was freaking Bruce. Hey, I got an idea. Right off the bat, Sid drives Diesel's bad elbow in the ring post, so the heels work the arm the whole match. Kind of saw where that was going. Bam Bam beats up Sid, hits a diving headbutt. DiBiase distracts the ref. Sid's able to kick out and take control. The heels are in control for quite a while. The crowd is flipping dead. Like, just dead. When Diesel gets the hot tag, it sounds like maybe 10 people cheered. And there's 16,000 in the crowd. So, yeah. You could hear a mouse fart during this match. They start to come alive a tad when Tatanka takes over on Bam Bam, which is weird. Bam Bam hits Tatanka with a flipping senton and lands on his damn neck. You can tell he was feeling that one. When Diesel gets in and signals for the jackknife, the crowd starts getting a little more into the match. He hits the jackknife on Tatanka and pulls him up before the ref counts 3. And then Diesel tells Sid that he wants him, but Sid says, you don't want me, and he leaves. On his way out, the crowd pelts him with garbage. So, Philly strikes again. Diesel finally pins Tatanka for the win. As the baby faces celebrate their win, a ton of sparks and pyro goes off, because why not? Conclusion, the dead crowd during this main event really killed, the feelings for me. I just couldn't give a crap less. 2 Uncle Daves. Yeah.
Too many.
Yeah, it was okay, but this was not a main event. Just, this whole show was just so bad. This was a freaking slog. This was a time where I wish I could watch and fast forward. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, the WWE Network doesn't have that feature. Ugh.
So you get to have fun at least and watch it all.
Oh yeah, I get to see all of this crap. Anyway, that was that. Just bad. More bad. Tons of bad. There was no, like, bright light on that show. The Kiss My Foot match was like... This is bad when you can say the Kiss My Foot match was the best thing on that damn show.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah. Well, I have not looked at the card.
I feel like the next pay-per-view is going to be even worse, though.
Is it? I just... I don't know what I'm in for. Okay, in your house too, I guess, is the Lumberjacks. Oh gosh, that just sounds bad. Well, let's see. Oh man, dark match with Skip and Sonny and versus Aldo Montoya. Man, we get to miss that? Damn. Oh man! Oh, look at these great matches we got on this card. Because next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will be reviewing WCW's Bash at the Beach 1995. Yay! This is one where they're literally on the beach. So, hooray! We will also be doing something a little different. This time, we're going to be covering ECW's Hardcore Heaven 1995. That one, I don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not. You're
not.
Yeah, probably not. It's probably going to be just as bad. But yeah, so we're going to mix in an ECW show. And then in your house, too, the Lumberjacks for WWF. Listen to this freaking card, man. The Roadie versus the 1-2-3 Kid. Men on a Mission, King Mabel and Sir Mo versus Razor Ramon and Savio Vega. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Henry O. Godwin. Oh yeah. Shawn Michaels versus Jeff Jarrett. Owen Hart and Yokozuna versus the Allied Powers. Hey, they're still together. Diesel versus Psycho Sid again in a lumberjack match. The WWF title to close the show. Yay.
That Shawn Michaels and Jarrett match is amazing.
I think that was the one that was on the best of DVD, or yeah. not DVD, but
probably was
video cassette.
I believe.
Yeah, I remember that one. Is that the one where after this match, Jarrett and Rhodey say "see ya" and they just hightail it for like greener pastures?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, you know. Spoilers, everyone. So, there you go. That was, Jarrett didn't like having to do the J-O-B. Yeah, because if there's one person you're going to complain about jobbing to, it's got to be Shawn Michaels. Who would do the job for him? Whatever. We don't even get to see the amazing casket match that's on after the show goes off.
And we do. It's just not on the show. It's on Raw.
Oh, well, excuse me. Well, and of course, Bret Hart takes on Jean-Pierre Lafitte, I think. I don't know. That was, I'm sure, a barn burner. This whole show just looks like I'm going to be in pain watching it. But, c'est la vie. Anyway, thanks for being with me today, Greg.
Yeah, it was something.
We're going to be in for more pain next week. Bonesaw is ready. Later.
This has been a Drama City production.